We will call the Center County Board of Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, September 19th to order at 10 o'clock. Those who are able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have a time now for a public comment for items not appearing on today's agenda. I think everybody in the audience is somebody we already know who's here for other things. So we'll move along to the meeting minutes. Any changes to the meeting minutes, either Commissioner? No? All right, take a motion then.
I move to approve the minutes from meetings held September 12th, 2023.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes for the meetings held September 12th. All those in favor do so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We will move on to our first proclamation of the meeting. I think actually since September tends to be a slower month, it's our only proclamation for the meeting. Kind of delaying a little bit so we can get Gary set up. You're good? You're good, Gary? All right. I'm like, I think I actually saw both of the news media cars in the parking lot today. So thanks both of you for coming. So it's proclamation number 39, proclaiming October 5th as Day of Caring in Center County, and I believe it's the 30th year. That is a lot of years. And we have Paula and Celesta here to tell us about it. Why don't you have a seat here at the side table so that we have live mics for both of you, and we can talk about it a little more, because I know it's a huge benefit to dozens of local charities here in the county. I don't know which one of you would like to kick it off.
So first, I'd like to start by thanking everyone for having us today. We so appreciate this, and we so appreciate the support from the county and the commissioners, so thank you very much for that. The Day of Caring is a critical day in Center County. We are very fortunate that so many volunteers sign up, and so many of our partner agencies and other organizations come together to ask for some help, and then it's provided. So Celesta's going to give some additional details about the day.
Good morning. So currently we have about 49 sites that have registered with us across Center County, which is pretty amazing. We have just under 1,000 volunteers, and that sounds really great. A lot of them, which I think is even better, are young. So we have the St. Joe's Catholic Academy will be out. We have the Delta program from State College, and then with Bellefonte, he is sending his juniors and seniors out to do some work. So they're pretty phenomenal when they get out to do some things, and then we also have some skilled groups around the area that are taking on some bigger projects. I could tell you Day of Caring is just near and dear to me as an old nonprofit relic in the community, because when you are taking care of people and you are helping people, the last thing you have is the yard, the leaky fence, the new roof, the extra things. And when Day of Caring happens and people come out and say, well, I've never stained a deck before, but I will do it today, you have an outpouring that is such a mutual relationship that it's wonderful. So that's the Day of Caring. We're looking forward to it. We will start with breakfast at the Bryce Jordan Center at about 7:30 a.m. and the Penn State basketball coach, men's basketball coach this year, and his staff will take care of our volunteers. We'll get them all out to job sites, and then we'll start at 9 a.m. and go, go, go. So if you have some time, I'm always still taking volunteers and can find a spot for you.
Well, excellent, Celesta and Paula. That was going to be one of my main questions is, can people still volunteer for the October 5th Day of Caring?
It makes me a little crazy, but I never turn down a set of hands.
And we are very grateful for that. So, very grateful.
Wonderful. Let me turn it over to Commissioner Concepcion first, and then Commissioner Dersham.
Well, thanks for being here to introduce this to us. I'm kind of familiar with this from years past. I think in county services, we're often working with families that have multiple different kinds of needs, and it seems like the kind of care that you're providing can go a long way to filling some of those gaps. So, yeah.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't say something about Colonel Russell, who was near and dear to a lot of our hearts, and probably one of the better souls that ever walked this earth when it comes to community service, public service, and sacrifice for the country. A decorated Marine Corps vet who this was near and dear to him, and I think the impact that it's had over the last 30 years is pretty phenomenal. And I just want to congratulate you and all the folks that you've recruited, and all the projects that will benefit from all the labors of literally 1,000 people. So, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in this morning.
Great. Yeah, thanks for coming in. And as you mentioned, it's 49 different sites, primarily concentrating on infrastructure, painting, repair, because a lot of our nonprofits focus on caring for people and trying to help make things at least a little bit better. And they kind of forget about that deck, painting the building, keeping the parking lot in good repair, raking the leaves, all the many, many, many things that you have to do when you're stretched for dollars and resources and funds. Probably more a question for Paula, but are there one or two projects over the years that you felt really impacted the charity and the community that happened at a Day of Caring?
One I would point out, and it's surprising that this year we do not have them because we just don't need a roof this year. But the last 6 years, Marcon has come out and replaced roofs. Like, I mean, they're out before, they don't come to breakfast. They're out there before dawn, and they do a roof in a day, which is incredible. This year, as always, we are powered by PNC, so PNC comes out and supports us in a large aspect of everything because we do not take any donated dollars to support Day of Caring, which I think is significant. And this year, Habitat for Humanity is building a home, so those are always where you get an extra set of hands, and I think those are also significant. Those are probably the most significant ones off the top of my head that I can tell you about, but some of them turn into, a project that someone says, listen, we can't do this in a day, but we'll come back a few more times and help you get it finished, because nonprofit workers have high hopes.
Yes.
And they give big projects sometimes that we have to kind of wrangle them down. But the roof in Marcon is just an amazing example of a community member coming in. We have a couple other groups in the community, like Alex's Proscape will be kind of helping us.
They do nice work, yeah.
We have a lot of the realtors will take on, like, Remax is going to be at a couple of the Arc of Center County homes, and they're going to be like tarring a driveway, so sealing a driveway. Yeah, so it's surprising what everybody will come out and do. Those are our big ones.
As the commissioners know from our work in economic development, there's few things more important than fixing a leaking roof. We've seen it in Milheim, we've seen it in Bellefonte, we've seen it in Phillipsburg. If you can save the roof, the building is probably salvageable. If you can't, it doesn't matter how much you care, it doesn't matter how hard you're trying as a nonprofit, pretty soon you have to abandon the building.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, any questions from the press about this year's Day of Caring?
You're saying you have a specific habitat project tied in with Day of Caring?
It's not tied in, but they have one, so it allows us to put a whole group of people, like, another extra day to get that house completed. So there is a Habitat house that is being built, and I know that PNC will take on that site.
And you said for people who still want to sign up for volunteers, do they do that on your website? Is there an email?
Yes, ccunitedway.org. I always forget the org. And you can hit Day of Caring, and you'll shoot me an email, and you'll say, I want to volunteer, and then we'll negotiate. Great stuff. You can look at the sites that we have, and then I try to match you, and if I'm really full already in some of them, then I try to negotiate.
And we're really fortunate that Celesta joins us and leads this project for us. And as someone that is new to Center County, well, returning back to Center County, I am so excited to participate in my first day of caring. And from talking with some of our partner agencies and other organizations, they continue to share how this event has such a huge impact on what they're doing year round. So we are truly grateful for the support that you're providing, and we're grateful for the support of the community.
Well, thank you, Celeste and Paul. And again, if you would like to volunteer, it's ccunitedway.org. And she will fit you in, and there are 49 potential projects spread throughout the county where you can participate. Anything else from either commissioner? All right, well, I think we'll take a motion then.
I'll move to adopt Proclamation 39 of 2023, proclaiming October 5th, 2023 as Day of Caring in Center County.
I will second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt Proclamation number 39, proclaiming October 5th as the United Way Day of Caring in Center County for the 30th year. That's tremendous. All right, all those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thought that was going to be an all aye on that one. Come on up and we'll present you with the proclamation and take a picture for social media.
I'll send it to you. Send this, all right.
Steve likes to set our awardees on Bill Fund.
Okay. There we go.
Yes, there we go.
Good?
You're good. All right. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. We so appreciate it. So appreciate it.
Well, welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care. Thanks again.
Thanks. All right, and now we will move on to contracts and authorizations, and it looks like it's going to be the Faith Show for a little while.
I'm happy to be a part of it. So I'll be covering adult services, and then I'll follow up with MHID. So for adult services, the first three items are contract addendums that are associated with our year-end costs and closeout of fiscal year 22-23 for the Human Services Block Grant. So the first is a contract addendum with Center Helps. This is to make the agency whole for their information and referral hotline. The original contract is $70,000, and so we're increasing it to $102,133. The second contract addendum is for housing transitions. This is additional funds for the 211 Coordinated Entry Walk-In Center. So again, this is a service that we provide that's actually HUD recommended service or federally for one of our federal housing programs, but we support it through the block grant. So the original contract is $61,059, and we're increasing it to $65,630.91. The final contract addendum is also with Housing Transitions. This is for their Bridge Transitional Housing Program. The original contract is $59,924, and we're increasing it to $69,223.66. The final item for adult services, this is just a renewed participation agreement with the Department of Community and Economic Development, or DCD. This is for our HMIS system, our Homeless Management Information System. We actually get the license through our continuum of care, and it's what we use to insert or upload client data essentially for a lot of our programs. And so this is an agreement that doesn't really have an expiration. I put a 5-year on it just for best practice, and so it's just a renewal of participating in that platform. That's it.
Sounds good, Faith. Commissioner Concepcion, any questions? Commissioner Dershowitz? I'm glad to see that we can make great nonprofits like Center Helps and Housing Transitions whole here at the end of the state fiscal year. Unless there's any other questions, I think we take a motion.
I'll move to add adult services contracts 1 through 4 to next week's consent agenda.
We have a motion and a second to add adult services contracts 1 through 4 to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And now Faith will handle 3 additional contracts for MHIDEI, drug and alcohol.
Okay. Excuse me. So all 3 of these are contract renewals for the new fiscal year for July 23 to June 24. So the first is a contract renewal with Service Access and Management, Inc., or SAM, to provide mental health services, including emergency crisis delegate services. So what they do here is they facilitate the involuntary hospitalizations, and they also manage and submit all relevant paperwork that relates to the involuntary hospitalization, including a 302 commitment paperwork. The second is a contract renewal with Community Services Group to provide mental health services, including the psychiatric rehabilitation and outpatient services. The contract is for $51,000. Oops, sorry, the first one's for $167,669. I had that circled and everything and skipped right over it. Sorry. The third item is a contract renewal with Crossroads Counseling, also to provide mental health services, including psychiatric evaluation and medication visits, individual and group therapy, telepsychiatry services, and outpatient services at the correctional facility. That contract total is $36,000. That is it for mental health.
Great, thank you, Faith.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Concepcion, any questions?
No, thanks for bringing these to improve services we're providing.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
I'd like to highlight our relationship with Service Access Management. They've been an incredible partner over the last number of years, and really happy to be able to work with them.
Great organization. They've helped
Not that
us
they all,
out.
they're all great organizations, but SAM has been exceptionally great to work with.
They've gone above and beyond several times for us.
Many times.
Yes, and gentle reminder to the state legislature, it's been a very, very, very long time since we've had an increase in base mental health funding at the county level. So, gentle reminder on that one. Unless there's any other questions, we'll take a motion.
I'll move to add the MHID, EI, DNA items 1 through 3 to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to add the MHID, EI, drug and alcohol, 3 items to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks,
All right,
Faith.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We have a kind of medium-length consent agenda. Unless there's any questions, we'll take a motion.
I will move to approve this week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve this week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, and now we have a pretty decent-sized check run. Hand that over to Commissioner Concepcion.
Yeah, so the check that I'm going to recognize today is to Center Helps. We just discussed them earlier on the agenda. They have a 24-hour helpline for folks in Center County when you dial the 988 number for mental health. If someone is experiencing mental health crises, Center Helps is the organization that will be picking up, and they have trained personnel there who are available 24 hours a day. So with that, I would move to approve the check run dated September 15th, 2023.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the check run dated September 15th. All those in, all those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Any administrators report, John?
I'd just like to report that Willow Bank parking lot paving will wrap up this week, and we're hoping to line stripe and seal around the edges this coming weekend and have everything back to normal starting next week. So just a final thank you to employees and the public for their patience during this process.
It's very nice.
Yes.
I will comment that they did a fantastic job.
Yeah, appears to be a very good quality job. Knock on wood, we've been running on schedule, and everything seems to be going pretty smoothly, which is not been our experience recently on construction projects.
Yeah.
Thank
We'll
you very
take the
much,
win.
John. We'll take the win, exactly. Steve, are you ready for a voter's registration
I have
report?
one.
Very good.
We have 99,962 registered voters in Center County as of this morning. That's up 82 registrations since last report. The highlight reel is the Democratic voters. There's 42,048. There are 132 Green Party, 596 Libertarian, 13,486 all, I guess, no affiliation. And then the Republican Party has 40,625. And when you add the 3,075 all others, you will get the total of 99,962. The feature party of the day of the small folks, of the 3,075 non-major parties, is the Blank Party. And the Blanks have 3 members in Center County.
So people must have actually written the word out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In capital letters, I might add.
Oh, all right. Very good.
So there you have it. There are 3 capital letter blanks. So And the feature precinct is actually, it's an anomaly in maybe what we consider off-year elections. It's State College number 24, which votes at the hub at Penn State, primarily students. Not all exclusively, but primarily students. And there were 3,525 registered voters in precinct number 24. There were 21 ballots cast in the last election, which led to a total voter turnout percentage of 0.60%. I suspect the students might be back again for this next go-round, but in the spring, it was a fairly light voter turnout. I think it's probably as light as it gets. So we want to thank all the folks, and I think that's the precinct that the Bellefonte High School kids man. So
Yes.
acknowledge all their efforts and all the other folks that make it happen at the hub. So there you go.
Thanks, Steve.
And Albert.
Yes, we'll mention in presidential years, it's the largest single precinct in the state. But yes, when you hold the primary, when the students have mostly left, not a lot of voters happening.
21 ballots cast out of 3,525.
Yeah, but thanks.
Learn on the way to work this morning on NPR, they announced today is National Voter Registration Day, which I did not know was a thing, but that is today.
We need more
Yeah.
publicity on that.
So register to vote.
Yes. It's quick, easy, and you can do it online even.
There you go. And don't forget if you want your mail-in ballots that the applications are available.
Yes. And also quick, easy, and painless. The rest of our public, oh, sorry, John, any executive sessions to report or hold?
No executive sessions to report or hold.
The remainder of our public meeting schedule, on Thursday, we have a combined Board of Commissioners and Salary Board meeting at 10, Board of Elections meeting at 1, and then next week, Tuesday, we have a Board of Commissioners meeting at 10 and a work session at 11. And then on Thursday, September 28th, is the Finance Committee at 9 a.m. Do we have any questions from the press?
Have you got any details, speaking of register to vote, the governor announced yesterday when you go to get a license or whatever, you folks, you automatically signed up to register unless you say no. Have you got any details on that yet, Alex?
That sounds great. But
I heard him on the news this morning talking about it. That's
Yeah.
all I
Sounds
got
great,
on it,
but we
yeah.
don't serve on the election board when we're up for election, Gary, so don't have a lot of detail.
So to be clear, I have not heard about this, but you have to opt out to.
Apparently, unless you say you do not want to, you will be automatically signed up to register to vote.
That's a little counterintuitive to me. I would think that you'd want to register to vote. You'd want the conscious effort, unless it's spelled out very clearly in the process of going for your driver's license. I would challenge that it would be better if the individual actually consciously knew that they were registering to vote and doing it responsibly.
What's the situation with state budget? Is county programs fully funded now? We keep hearing that part of the budget, most of it, are you receiving the money from Harrisburg, or are there still certain programs?
Well, Harrisburg's a very complicated place, Gary. A very good question. Thankfully, the majority of county funding is in the base funding for mental health services with our block grant, the funding for children and youth, funding for the courts, and I believe the overwhelming majority of that is part of the main state budget, but there are a number of other special initiatives that the counties participate in. I'm thinking there's some additional funding for mental health and a broad variety of supplemental programs plus grants that I believe are currently still kind of stuck in Harrisburg. Was I close on that, Juliet? Okay. All right, good.
It hasn't had an overall impact on the budget where you're trying to take money from one program to cover another?
Not this early in, Gary, no. The county's in pretty good financial shape, so if we have to loan programs $1 million or $2 million, we've got it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Great. Not quite a record for shortest meeting, but getting close.
Oh, we've done much better.
You've done faster? All right. Unless there's anything else for the good of the order, then we'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn at 10:24. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thanks, everyone.